Hey, all you freedom fighters. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different as we check out MTech Knives. So today we're going to check out some MTech Knives. I've never had an MTech knife before, so we're going to unbox them. I'll give you some of my thoughts around them initially, and then we will carry them around for a while, and I will come back and give you my thoughts. So to unbox them, I'm going to use my CRKT CEO. This is a good knife I've reviewed previously. Check that out, and we will go from there. First impressions. Boxes definitely aren't as good as some knife boxes, but then for the price, I think one of these knives was $15 and one was $10. I got some cool designs on them, as you can see. So this is a very large folder. So first impressions, it's a hefty knife. I mean, this is definitely a good size knife. I like the pattern. That's part of the reason I ordered this one. I'm curious to see how well the seatbelt cutter works, the glass breaker. So this is definitely kind of a tactical knife. Cool design, very tactical design. Kind of a spear point going on there. It's not the smoothest, but it is assisted opening. And it's almost so large you can't. And I have pretty big hands, and it's almost to the point where it's like hard for me to even get over it. And there you go. The stud's definitely, I don't think, the way to go. You definitely want to use the flipper on this one. It's almost too big to get in, and then with the assisted opening to fight that spring. It's not the space to see if that loosens up over time. But definitely a cool pattern, like the American flag. So they have some neat stuff out there. But I believe this one was $10. So for $10, it may be hard to beat, especially if you're on a really tight budget. All right, we'll set that one off to the side. Open up our next one. So I think that's one of the things to remember is these knives are made in China. They are designed in the US. So you're definitely looking at a lower price point. But you get what you pay for sometimes. Sometimes you only have the money to pay for a certain amount. Here's the next one. Another cool design, another American flag. This one only has it on one side, so one side's plain and one side is the American flag. Let's see how easy this one is to flip open. Kind of similar, like not the best. Has a cool Constitution, We the People on the blade. A little bit easier to close. Not quite as big. Let's try the flipper. Definitely better on the flipper. This one's a frame lock, where the other one's a liner lock. Both of them have more deep carry pocket here. This one's not quite so deep carry. Not sure why they placed it so low. Didn't place it higher up on the handle there. We will find out. We'll see how it carries. But this is definitely not quite as big a knife, though it seems to be almost as big, just kind of a different shape. Yeah, I mean, they're very similar. So now let's just take a quick look and just look at the construction, see if there's anything glaring that we see. From a kind of blade standpoint, it looks like it's pretty well centered. Not too bad. No shaking, no looseness in the blade, so that's pretty good. That does look like there's not quite locking up all the way, so that's an issue. See, it's just barely, maybe halfway on the frame lock, so that's an issue to watch out for. Theoretically, that could be just taken apart. You could take it apart and grind that down just a little bit. It's not something you necessarily want to do or think you should have to do buying a new knife, but when you're only paying $10 or $15 for them, that's the trade-offs you make with the other one. Again, the blade's strong, stiff. Not as stiff as the other one. I guess it's due to the fact that this is a liner lock instead of a frame lock. However, the frame, the liner lock is locked up all the way, so that's excellent. So at least you know it's locked up all the way. Let's take a look at the blade. Blade looks pretty centered. Not too bad. Not perfect, but not terrible either. So curious to see how these work out. They both are assisted opening. So we'll try them out and we'll come back and see you a little later. Thanks a lot. Before we go, I did want to do a quick out of the box sharpness test. So we'll see how sharp it is. So not the best sharpness out of the box. Yeah, you can feel not the best sharpness. So I'll have to sharpen those up, see how they sharpen up. Let's try the other one. This one's a little better, a little cleaner. Still not the best. We'll try sharpening those up a little bit. That's a little better. So we'll sharpen those up a little bit prior to our trial. So hey guys, I'm back. I spent a couple weeks kind of just utilizing these knives, seeing how they work in real life, in real situations, just carrying them around. And I wanted to come back and give you guys kind of a review on how functional they truly are. Are they worth the money? They're very, very inexpensive knives, but would they last? Would they be good for anything? Or are you just wasting your money, even though it's such a small amount, wasting your money, just throwing good money after bad, trying to buy these? Starting with this one. This one ended up costing me $15. I think I mentioned that earlier. The design's really grown on me. I really like the American flag. I really like how it's kind of that bright anodized aluminum, and the texture on it is really nice and helps with that grip when you're trying to utilize it. Flipper works excellent. That was definitely the case. I've tried a couple times to use the thumb studs, and the thumb studs, to be honest, are worthless. They might as well just take them off and save some money there. They really don't do anything. They're really not very functional, just with the knife design. Now with the design, I really do like it. I think it's really great in the hand. It holds really good. I didn't have any fatigue or anything when I was utilizing this for a few tasks that I used it on. And generally, overall, I would say it's a really well-ran knife. Now, the knife is, like I said, it's made in China. It's, if you look at it, MTech, stainless steel. So there's not really any, okay, what kind of stainless? So there's not a whole lot to this. As far as high-end materials that they're utilizing, this is just a basic, simple knife. So if that's what you're looking for, it was actually a really good knife for that. I really enjoyed it. This is actually a knife that I will end up putting into my rotation. I think it serves a purpose. It serves a purpose, and it definitely, if you're looking for a utility knife, I would highly recommend this as kind of like an everyday utility work knife, farm knife. This would be an excellent option, one that you can kind of beat up. If it breaks, no big deal. I can go buy another one for 15 bucks and start doing everything I need to do. I don't have to worry about it. If I happen to pry it and break a tip off, no big deal. I mean, it's not a knife that you're going to worry about damaging, but it's a knife that is functional enough it can get the job done. And definitely closes real easy. I got really good with just a little practice. It did feel like it loosened up a little bit. And overall, yeah, excellent knife. I would definitely recommend buying this knife for anybody out there. Again, some other things, lanyard. I'm not sure why there's a lanyard hold on it. That's just another kind of feature that's just kind of like thumb studs that in my mind serves no purpose. But overall, definitely a knife I would highly recommend to anybody that's just looking for a good, low cost knife that's going to work for simple tasks, even some higher end tasks, but that's just kind of a go-to everyday utility work knife. Now this one's a little different. I carry this one around. It's about the same size. Very similar. It is definitely a thicker blade. Definitely an odd blade shape, where I think this one's kind of more traditional knife blade shape. This one's kind of like more of, I say, a tactical blade shape. I think is what they're going for, almost like a spear point, spear edge. They have some of these funky designs with these holes and these lines that, again, could see no service purpose other than kind of just design elements that somebody thought should be there. Holes in the handle. So yeah. So I mean, this one it worked. Again, the stainless steel, it could work. My biggest thing for this one is it's just so huge, like, and bulky. It's just so hard to close. Like, in order to get it to close, I have to be very careful and get my hand way up on it in order to be able to close the blade, just because it's so big and so bulky. A couple times you can see. So yeah, so if you take a look right there, that's where I cut myself trying to close it. Just trying to do it one-handed, and it's just so big and bulky, it just doesn't work very well. And I just kept getting my finger in the way trying to do it. Eventually I did get it, and I'll show you that here in just a minute. But I'm lucky I didn't slice a big chunk of skin off with my finger. And so, due to that, I mean, if I held it down and tried to close it, I would just get my pinky down in this area, and that was just not good. And so for that reason, I would not recommend this one. This one was actually cheaper than the previous one. This one only cost me $10, but just because of the design, I don't think it's very functional. It's just hard to use. It's bulky. I was trying to do some tasks and was holding it, and it was digging into the palm of my hand. I did kind of figure out, like, I think, especially because of, if you can see this on the side, it's kind of at a downward angle for the finger grooves. And so it almost feels like it was designed kind of like almost they were really designing like a fighting knife. Like, this is going to be a good knife you go in and try to fight people with, and you're supposed to hold it at an angle and kind of get it out there ahead of you. Because in that case, it's actually comfortable to hold. This is comfortable to hold. This, trying to hold it like a knife, like trying to do tasks, is not. Now, if I held up really far up on the blade and I was doing some like fine work, I could do that, and like that doesn't feel too bad. But like just trying to hold it and just do basic knife work with it is very uncomfortable. It just doesn't fit in your hand right. And I think that's the problems. They were going for like a very tactical feel and tactical design, and that's what this is designed around. But I don't see anybody using it actually for that. So unless you're just trying to be really tactical and try to like play a game and like just be all for show, I don't see a need for that. And so I would not recommend this for somebody, especially since it's like a first responders type knife with a windshield breaker and a seatbelt cutter. We'll be trying that out in a future seatbelt cutting video, see how well that works. Just throw it in the mix. But it seems like with these features, you're going to be utilizing this, and you're going to buy this for have a functionality and be on a job. You're going to see people, paramedics potentially buying it, or other folks that are first responders, and this would not be a knife that I would recommend for them because it's just not very functional in the blade design, and it's not very comfortable to handle and use. So if you see this knife and you're like, oh, that's really cool, I really would not recommend you buying it unless you're just looking for, hey, it's $10 and I just wanted a knife that I thought looked cool that I'm just going to play around with every once in a while. To me, that's really all it's good for. It sounds harsh, but I look at a knife, if I can't carry it around and can't utilize it and it can't be functional, then why have it in the first place? Now, I understand if you're just looking for something cool, something that makes you feel good, then go for it. I just certainly want to disparage that. And I definitely like MTech as a company, and US designed, even though it's China made. I know that's one of my big MTech. If anybody from MTech happens to listen to this video, I would strongly recommend. I like your designs. I like that this is trying to be innovative and do something different and make it a little different than what would traditionally be made. I'm not sure if they just didn't do any kind of functional testing with it. But I would suggest that you do more functional testing, or maybe even like prototype some of these and give them out and just say, hey, here's some people that we utilize, and they're going to carry them around and try and give us feedback. The other thing I would strongly recommend for MTech, just from that point, especially with cool knives like this with American flag stuff, bring your manufacturing back to the United States. I have a strong manufacturing background. You can find cheap, good manufacturing at a low price point in the United States, or at a bare minimum, down in Mexico. I'd rather see these knives be made in Mexico, part of NAFTA, well, part of the new North America, US, Mexico, Canada trade agreement, and have them made close to shore in a country that is at least a country we get along with and is not trying to over this than to see them made in China and just helping their economy out. I'd really love to see these knives be reshored to the United States, or at a bare minimum Mexico if you need that lower price point and it's too labor intensive to do it in the US at that price point. I would love to see that either in future knives, and I would highly recommend that to the company. Now, should you buy MTech knives in general, what would be my recommendation? I would say yes, with one caveat. I would say yes. Like I said, this knife right here, this one will become part of my rotation. This will be one that I carry around on a regular basis. I thought it was that good of a knife. Definitely for the price points. You could think of it like, hey, I'm getting 80-90% of what it is to buy a higher end knife for 20% or less of the cost. I mean, that can't beat that, and it looks good, right? But I would say watch out for the knives you do buy. My take so far right now is that they're trying to be innovative. They're a business, they're trying to make money, and they're putting out designs that will sell, and they aren't sure what that is, so they're just putting out knives, and the price points are so cheap and so low that they can throw things out in the market, and if it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, it doesn't. They can probably get rid of a small amount of inventory for the short run that they have. And so my guess is, based on my experience with just these two knives, is it maybe hit or miss. You may get some really excellent knives that you love out of MTech, and you may get some knives that you're like, well, that wasn't a lot of money, but it was a waste of that little bit of money. So that would be my only caution, is I would definitely recommend that you buy these through a company that takes returns and you don't get hassled about that, or buying them on site in a shop somewhere that sells them, where you can try them out, hold them, utilize them for a little bit, kind of play around with them before you decide to make that purchase. Or like I bought these off Amazon. Amazon would be a great place because you can try them out. If you aren't really using it, you can carry in your pocket, see how they fit in the pocket. And again, I would say actually both of these knives fit in the pocket very well. But be cautious of that. And just kind of as an example to show you guys, as I said, these are very similar sized knives. I have my SOG. Tried it here. I did a video review on this one, link in the description below. But you can see very similar in size as like a SOG Trident. And I would say this would be a comparable, in my mind, would be a comparable knife as the SOG, as the Trident. Which $50, $10, $10, $15, $50. Now you're gonna get a better steel, you're gonna get kind of the better assists and kind of more engineering and more design work going to it. But if it's just a knife you're going to utilize kind of for day-to-day carry, if you're utilizing it for like farm work or utility work, if you're working in landscaping, if you're utilizing it in an environment where it's just going to get beat up and there's chances of breaking it or damaging it, do you want to spend $50 for something like a SOG Trident, or even more for like a Spyderco or a Benchmade? Or do you just want something cheap that you can go to that's reliable, that is generally well made? But if you damage it, you're not going to be concerned. You're going to say, okay, I'll just go buy another one. Heck, you could buy 2 or 3 of them and have them ready to go, and for the same price as you can buy this one for. So that would be my feedback. Definitely good knives for what I think their intended use would be, in my point. Like I said, this one I'll put in my rotation. And just think about that. How you would use it, would it fit in that intended use? And go for it. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Look for new and future content. As always, keep learning, training, and enjoying life. Thank you.